We're looking, first of all, at the continuing fight against corruption by the EFCC. EFCC versus Yahaya Bello. The federal government files fresh charges against former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello. And these are some of the things that you are saying concerning that. Daddy Spearman is the first person speaking this morning. And what do you have to say, Spearman? No matter where he takes the case to, he will still come back to answer his call. The Supreme Court will bring him back to face his case. So let's see how that plays out. Speaking of which, the Supreme Court will be maybe not necessarily in the eye of the storm, but under scrutiny about how it will handle that appeal filed by the outgone governor of Kogi State, Mr. Yahaya Bello. What is Kingsley Monday saying? Kingsley Monday says, let's see how this will play out. Nevertheless, until Nigeria has strong government institutions where it won't favor only the elite and drag the unprivileged, we are going to rigmarole in the circle of big manism, above the law syndrome. And of course, the approach sometimes to fighting corruption gives rise to these kinds of comments. Of course, we'll take the word of the EFCC that the former governor must stand trial. But why was the former governor not taken into custody and questioned when he visited the commission that same day? Of course, other pictures that emerged that day, revealed that the former governor actually had a conversation with one of the key officials of the commission, and we have those pictures. But of course, what the commission has said is that the former governor is still wanted, but we haven't seen any deliberate effort by the commission to arrest the former governor. The EFCC, all eyes is on the commission to go after governors who have allegedly, siphoned or, dipped their hands into the pot of the national cake. Now, let's continue with some of your comments on this one. Kingsley Monday, we've taken that. Uwana Umowiang says, this shows that the fight against corruption isn't one-sided. Every entity should be held accountable. This could complicate current matters for the EFCC. Let's see if they can hold their ground. Yeah, we'll take your point there. Then Omo Iya Teacher says, Yahaya Bello, accused of stealing 80.2 billion naira, went into hiding and lied about surrendering to authorities and now hired a lawyer to drag the EFCC to court. And of course, you can see the end of that comment. But let's go to another talking point. This time around, CBN to sanction banks for not dispensing cash via ATMs. And of course, that came as a welcome development to a lot of Nigerians, particularly because of the cash crunch in ATMs, or the absence of it at all. And the first person speaking this morning is Gunnar Bayo, who says, I don't blame the banks. The ATM business isn't as profitable as before. Really? Maintenance costs and scheme fees eat up most of the revenue. Many banks are shutting down ATMs because they're not making a profit. You might make 200 million in a year, but expenses could be as high as 900 million naira. Well, we need the banks, of course, to provide evidence to this effect. The banks may be making a loss, as you say, but the banks in their annual declarations are turning in huge profit, in fact, more than any other sectors. And this has engendered another exchange rate of local currency in the country, where you have to, use your own money to buy your own money. And, that's really an unwelcome development as far as the economy is concerned. Let's take this one from Realist Certified, who says, maybe we should start reporting banks and branches that refuse to load their ATMs to support the Central Bank of Nigeria for this new development. Well, the reports are out there. The evidence abounds. Now, Titilayo says, exactly what I've been waiting for. People don't use ATM machines again. Why? Because it doesn't dispense cash most times, now forcing us to go use POS. Well, that's it for that talking point. Let's go to the next one. President Bola Tinubu calls on world leaders to prioritize debt forgiveness to Nigeria and other developing countries. Of course, I'm interested in what you'll be saying about this one this morning. Temi says, debts are supposed to be invested in something. After a specific amount of time, it would have been fruitful and used to pay off. How can you be begging, make them dash you money? Well, and that's in local parlance, but really what she's trying to say is that how can you be asking that they, forgive your debt or, give you a free lunch? Means it wasn't used wisely as invested. That's that one from Timmy. And the last one, that should be applicable to Nigerian financial institutions. And he goes on to mention banks, but I won't do that on this platform. Let's go to another talking point very quickly so that we can cover as much ground as possible. The Senate confirms the appointment of Justice Kudirat Kekereekun as CJN. And Feyi is the first person speaking, and you say congratulations, Madam Kekereekun, but then the work must be done. And Abdullah, he says, 19th Nigerian CGN, congratulations. And as we move on to another talking point this morning, President Bola Tinubu has expressed his readiness to reshuffle his cabinet. And that's the one I'm looking forward to. Olowo Lagba is the first person speaking. And what do you say? Honestly, most of the ministries should be abolished so that cost of running government can be reduced. The Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy should be removed or combined with other ministries. Straight red card to Ministry of Health, Marine and Blue Economy Transport. And of course, Irunia says, Mr. President, you don't need to announce achievements. If you do well, we will all see it. Well, that's as honest as honesty can go. And as we move on to the next talking point, this one is an interesting one. And it comes, of course, with some audiovisual. We don't want Band A again. Leave us on Band B. Lagos residents protest. So this is about the power situation in the country. Now, the first person speaking, of course, that's the video there. You see some residents protesting the power situation in their community. Perhaps we can hear what they have to say. Okay, so let's continue. Edo Wizard is the first person writing in this morning on this one. And you say, this is the new trend. They deliberately switch people to Band A just to get them to pay more without consulting them or alerting them. People are on Band B, 16 to 8 years light. 16 to 18 hours rather light. Why switch them to Band A without their consent or request? Well, perhaps Band A comes with its own implications in higher tariff costs. And maybe these people are protesting that, they're having to pay more. But the issue is, do they also have the service that they're paying for? And if it is the cost of being on Band A is too high for them, then they have a right to demand a review. But the next person speaking is Reliable Reports, who says, Nigeria is really funny. We're stuck choosing between Band A and Band B and A and Band B and like it's a game now. Now, Clemmy White says, there is a reason electricity is categorized as a utility. Nigerians should come out now and fight these classifications. So keep them coming. Of course, this is your community show. We'll amplify your voices. And the next one is on residents calling out government over conditions of rice being distributed in Borno State after billions was donated to the people. Sadly, we must end. Okay, we can't take that one. Let's go to the next talking point this morning, which is about daughter of the billionaire businessman Temi Otedola, who stormed Paris Fashion Week in the L'Oreal Paris show. And it comes with a video. Are we ready with the video, or we'll take the comments first? Yes, that's it. Now, speaking of color and looking regal in that outfit. All right. If there's time, would have taken more of your comments, but that's it for a review of some of the big talking points. What your reactions to the big talking points on the show this morning. We'll be starting off with that big story, the cabinet reshuffle. What will it look like in the coming weeks? That will be our first port of call this morning. So stay with us. We'll be right back.